And that brings us to another exciting edition of Le Monde de Lalonde with our Montreal Bureau Chief, Kenzie Lalonde, who is at the Bell Centre Thursday night. And this was billed, Kenzie, as the battle of the Calder candidates. What stood out to you in this Lane Hutson versus Macklin Celebrini showdown?
First off, that music was excellent. You've really got me in this mood here to talk about these two players. And we'll start with talking about Macklin Celebrini because the San Jose Sharks have actually launched a campaign for him, calling it the Calder Trophy. And if you go to the site, you can take a look at his live stats. There's a bio and also some of the records he's broken. So, of course, I had to bring this up to his buddy Lane at the morning skate today and said, hey, what do you think of that coined phrase that they've come up with, the Calder Trophy? And he kind of chuckled and he said, they can do better. So you can already tell that there's a good little back and forth between these two star players. And so the game here tonight, of course, Montreal Canadiens taking it in overtime, courtesy of Cole Caulfield, who Macklin Celebrini caught on the other side of that highlight reel goal. But to me, Jay, it was the workload. You look at these young rising stars. Macklin Celebrini, the #1 center for the San Jose Sharks. He tied for lead shots here tonight with 4 on the night. He led for most minutes as a forward. He just continues to show the impact he can make in a game. And he was also going up against a veteran like Nick Suzuki in the face-off dot every period here tonight. Flip side of that, Lane Hutson, he just continues to drive the pace. We saw it again here tonight. He leads the power play. And again, he led defenders in time on ice. So these two players, with the volume of minutes they're playing, it's quite remarkable the seasons they're putting together.
Kenzie, it's been 53 years since a Montreal Canadiens player has won the Calder Trophy. That was Ken Dryden all the way back in 1972. Is it important to Lane Hutson? I mean, does he talk about wanting to win this thing over Celebrini?
I mean, I don't know if I'm sure it'd be nice for Lane Hutson. He hasn't certainly expressed any desire to claim that title or to be the one to win it. I'm sure he'd love to put that trophy in his case. Still, this is just his first ever season. But to me, why he is certainly in the conversation and why, in my opinion, he's deserving of this trophy is for 2 reasons. One, just his position as a defender. It is so challenging to transition as a young defender into the National Hockey League level, and he's done this seamlessly. The last Calder Trophy winner as a defender to win it was of course Cale Makar back in 2020. And you look at their point and the minutes that they played, Lane Hutson's right around the same style of game that Cale Makar had that season when you look at the point production and the volume of minutes that he played. The second reason, something I already spoke about earlier, the workload he has taken on this year. I had a chance to ask Martin St. Louis when he thinks back to when he first saw Lane Hutson in training camp and then what he sees now, where is that greatest evolution in his game? And he said, yeah, that's a good question. When he first saw him in training camp, he saw that jump in his step, right? That agility that he has. And he thought, okay, yeah, that's impressive, but can he defend? And then, of course, he showed that, yep, he can defend. And now what's impressing Martin St. Louis the most is how he's calculating the risks that he does take when he chooses to drive in with the puck or pull back and play a more supportive role. So for those 2 reasons, the position and the workload Lane Hutson has taken on this season for the Montreal Canadiens makes me believe why he is certainly deserving of the Calder Trophy.
Kenzie, Montreal, of course, still fighting for a wild card spot. We had the insiders on earlier on talking about Jake Evans, talking about Yoel Armia and that pending situation. What are your expectations for this team as we head to the deadline? Yeah,
you speak with some of these players and the wins the Montreal Canadiens are putting together as of late. And in the eyes of Nick Suzuki, they want to keep winning and give every reason to keep this group together. And the more they win, the more they can make that argument to management. But as Pierre LeBrun has spoken about earlier, there is still a sizable gap between the Montreal Canadiens appearing to make a deal with Jake Evans. So that's challenging, right? You think of how long Jake Evans has been with this program. He is such a glue guy in the room for this locker room. He was drafted back all the way in 2014. And a great example of his versatility and how much he really is relied upon on this team. Just go to the final minutes of this game between the San Jose Sharks. Who was out there? Well, it was Jake Evans. They were in their defensive zone. They had to play responsible, and they'll look to a guy like Jake Evans. So we'll see how things transition between now and, of course, next week, Jay. The Montreal Canadiens will look to trend in the right direction, keep winning. They have a back-to-back against the Buffalo Sabres. So, again, they'll look to try and get 2 wins there. Then, of course, they've got the Edmonton Oilers right before the deadline. So winning can certainly keep this in control for the players. That's the best they can do.